water. This splash bed versus sink water. I told him when I was a kid, we got the hose. And the first kid got warm hose water because we'd been in the hose for a week and we survived. So he needs to not worry about sink water.
Man. Yeah, Charlene said, and they've all turned out, or you guys have all turned out okay.
Exactly.
That's funny. Yeah, we were talking, for those of you who didn't hear, there's LaCroix in the kitchen. It's just sitting on the counter. And I said, Charlene, who brought LaCroix in? She said, I don't know. And I said, well, John Brewer calls that Mount Pleasant water. So, right. Yeah, and we're just like, whatever, I'm not having it, don't eat it or whatever. So anyway, Suzanne, you could just sit wherever. Yeah. Hi, Joe. How are you? We've got Joe Kessinger and Michael with us this morning. That's pretty awesome. All right, guys, so let's get started. We've got Michael joining us this morning. And as I had just mentioned, Joe Kessinger just walked in for those of you online. So that's fun and exciting. We will hear from Michael probably throughout the meeting, but again, at the end with some Q&A. But first and foremost, Michael, we wanted to say thank you very, very much. I know you've probably gotten a lot of appreciation for that donation, but that was a very delightful surprise and made all of us very, very touched and moved. I had mentioned that Tony and I actually we both looked at each other from my office to her desk and we were like, oh God. And then we both started crying and we were like, stop crying, stop crying. So that was very, very awesome. We are proud to be part of a company that gives back to our community in that way. So thank you very much for that.
Well, it was certainly on behalf of everyone at Carolina One. And I would suggest that while you may not want to necessarily watch the awards again on the first 30 minutes, but if you did miss the town hall on Tuesday, it is recorded, it is on the intranet, and you can go. And if you skip to basically 10:30, you can see Dr. Hayward's presentation on the International African American Museum, which I thought was a great presentation. And so if you do want to see that, you can watch it on the video. You can just fast forward through me reading all the award names and watch his presentation if you missed it on Tuesday.
Yeah, it was awesome. Very cool. So thank you again. Very excited to see that come to fruition. I heard him say too, didn't he say that Mayor Riley started that vision in 2000? It's crazy. Yeah. Crazy,
but you talk about, I mean, I know Maggie's a huge believer in this, as are we as a company, but you know, there is no one better for setting a goal, putting it out there and making it happen, even though it's not going to happen overnight, than Joe Riley. And that starts with his vision for the redevelopment down at Charleston Place, to the aquarium, to the International African American Museum. I mean, these are all part of his vision. This one going back 20 years, but some of those going back 30 and 40 years. But if you don't decide what you're going to do and put it out there and then figure out a plan to make it happen, it never will. And so sometimes it takes a while, but he was great at that.
Yeah, very cool. All right, so we've also got some birthdays to celebrate this month. We've got Shelby's birthday on the 11th, which is today. So happy birthday to Shelby if you're online with us. And then coming up on the 17th, we've got Rebecca Sosa and also Nia Swinton Jenkins. So happy birthday to you ladies. We have some congratulations for some anniversaries for this month. We've got Ashley Marsh and Lauren Zerilla with us for 2 years. Alex Torregas and Ann Wise, Chilla Stonkovics, all with us for 3 years. We haven't seen Chilla in a while. We got to get her in here. She's working. She's just not here. Yes, lots of travel. Lisa McKeechee and Nancy Carol Crick with us, as well as Tom Crick, of course, for 5 years, which is awesome. David Thompson and Tina Campbell Byers and Kelly Neely, 6 years. Doug Gepford, 9 years. Morris Cave, 12 years. And Kimberly Ritter with 15 years commitment to Carolina One. So thank you guys very much. We appreciate that. A couple of upcoming dates. This is actually a past date, but I loved this. We had so much fun doing our vision boards. I said to somebody that while we were here, you know, we know that everyone is starving for something social because we were here until 9 o'clock, just hanging out and chit-chatting and having fun and drinking some wine. And we had a great time. We even had people come in and hang out with us that weren't even they're not even agents. So it was very, very cool. We had a really good time. So more to come on fun stuff like that. You guys know that this month we are raising money for the Charleston Heart Association. Nearly 18 million people die per year because of cardiovascular disease. That is outrageous. In fact, on Wednesday, Tuesday, my mom had a biopsy, which was all clear, which we're real excited about. Wednesday, my dad had a heart catheterization. And 10 years ago, he had to have a stent put in because he had a 50% blockage in one of his main arteries. And so they were like, let's just go in and look and just make sure everything is good. And they went in through his wrist, which just blows my mind. It's like the new way they do it now. So they went in through his wrist and it came out of anesthesia. And they're like, John, have you been feeling ill? And he's like, no, I feel great. Just shoveled snow yesterday. I feel awesome. He's like, well, all of your arteries are blocked. So now we have probably a pretty big surgery coming up in a couple of weeks. So pray for my dad on that regard. But now I'm like, okay, we really need to really give more money now to the Heart Association because of the things that they can do. So we've got 17 more days left in Heart Month. Our goal was to raise $1,000. We did that, which is awesome. So now I'm going to level that up, of course. So next Thursday, no, 2 Thursdays from now, if you have ever been so mad at me that you wanted to pie me in the face, this is your opportunity to do it. So I'm not sure if we should do $10 tickets or $20 tickets, but it'd be really cool if we could raise $1,000 for. Digit just said that he will pay $1,000 right now. Adam Perella, $1,000. Perfect. Of course. Now I know who my favorite fans are. So Alex Dorigas wants to bake me a pie instead. Tony says, no limit. Michael, what kind of pie? There's no ingredients in the pie, just whipped cream. Come on. So I was going to try to pawn this off to Andrew and make Andrew get pied in the face. So I was going to say, so we might actually have Andrew do it with us. Andrew has done it before. Yeah, he said he's done it before. Well, perfect. Then you'll be a pro. You could teach me your ways. So I'm not sure. What do you think? Should we do $10 a ticket or $20 a ticket? You're thinking, right? I'm thinking at least, yeah. One person wins, there's got to be an automatic. Adam said there's got to be an automatic winner. If you donate $100, you get a pie in the face. Yeah. I'm saying, all right, let's do multiple pies. Yes. Yeah, we will definitely video it. So I'm thinking $20 an entry. We'll have me and Andrew. I've told you, Andrew. You're welcome. And then we will have 2 winners and see how much money we can raise. Sound good? All right. I sent this out to all the Heart Walk team captains and CC'd the brokers yesterday. And I was like, here's your slide for the sales meeting. You might want to ask your broker permission first to throw a pie at their face. But I think it'll be fun. Also upcoming on that same day, which is Thursday the 20th. Yes.
Maggie, it's Kimberly. I have a question. Isn't that the day that you wanted everyone to dress up?
Yeah. So that's what I was just about to say.
Does that mean you're going to be in a formal dress?
So what I'm thinking is we'll do the same day, Thursday, the 25th, the last Thursday of this month, we're doing our award celebration for the office. We're going to do the award segment during the meeting, and then we're going to have a reception that evening from 4 to 7. We would love for you guys to dress up and get your thrill of your fanciness since we didn't get to have Carolina One prom this year. Really, Carolina One awards. But what we'll do is I'm thinking we'll do the office awards in the morning, and then we will do the pie in the face right after the office awards, and we'll video it, and then we'll all change into our formal gear because I ain't wearing no formal thing all day long. So good question, Kimberly. But we're really excited about that. We're going to deck out the lobby. We've got some good ideas. Sherilyn, Andrew, Tony, Alyssa, and I have been brainstorming. We've got some fun little gifts for you. Obviously some fun awards. So like we did last year and a couple years prior, we'll send out an email probably today and ask you to vote on some of the fun awards. We've got some really fun categories, especially some for COVID. So more to come on that. Questions? Okay. Production. I put on here the swirl. Be smart and stay out of the swirl. What is the swirl? John Brewer talks about it a lot. Yeah. The drama, the chaos of everything that really doesn't matter, that we have no control over. What is the one this morning that everyone's talking about? Yeah, Zillow, purchasing everything in the world. So more to come on that, but just stay level, stay grounded, try to stay focused on the stuff that we can control. We always say control what we can control, influence what we can influence, but it's hard. It's easy to get caught up in the swirl of things. So production so far for the month of February, we've got 5 listings at $2 million, which is so sad and scary. We have 30 sales for $13 million, average price of $439. 13 closings for $4.9 million, average price of $379, which is crazy good. A little below market average there, but that's that movable number. And so far for the month of February, we've got the Poppy team with 2, Bonnie Cook with 6, Val Kelly with 2, awesome, rocking it out in Park Circle, Val. Pam Bishop, Thorne Cathcart with 3, Dominique House, raising a little baby and doing deals all at the same time. Casey Benton with 2, the Renee Kramer team with 3, Tina Hartford with 2, Homes of the Low Country, Charlotte McDonald, the Perella Group with 5, Doug Gepford, Kristen Ackerman, Dubose Cuthbert, Melissa Loy with 2, Cindy Howell, Zach Llewellyn, Lauren Zarilla, Katrina Johnson, the Smith team, Laura Goolsby 2, Hometown Property Group, Nancy Carroll Crick, the Ritter Group, Chrissy Strickland, the Carrie Walker Group, Karen Tawes, Leet Rand team, and Davis and Rivers Group. Awesome, awesome stuff. Very cool. Couple of reminders. Don't forget about some creative ideas in terms of ways to strategize in our market right now. Obviously, leverage our resources. So Installist and Facebook page, buy side, all that kind of stuff. Consider leasebacks or reverse home to purchase contingencies. Search active contingent with a kickout clause, or search MLS without any status. So you can see canceled listings, expired listings, that sort of thing. Check your database for past sales that match your criteria. So I think it was on a podcast or in the Ninja Selling podcast or newsletter or something, but it wouldn't have been there. I'm not sure where I saw it. Average sales price right now in our market is what? $462 last I checked, sometime last week. 3 years ago, what was that number? 3 something, okay? So look in your database to every person that you sold a house to 3 years ago and call them right now, today, call them and say, hey, guess what? The house you purchased 3 years ago might be worth $100,000 more today. Let's look at it. Maybe there's an opportunity there for you to help them. And obviously search FSBOs and search on Facebook for inventory. So I know you guys are doing these things, but sometimes you pick up on one and you're like, oh yeah, I should look there. So I'll keep reminding you of that. Multiple offers. We don't need to hit this on the head again. We've done this, knocked it down, dragged it out. We might as well just expect that you're going to be in multiple offers on every single transaction. So have your strategy and set your expectations. Do a lot of legwork on the front end of that. Don't forget about your net sheets, especially when you're representing sellers. This is part of Palm Agent that Andrew and Sherilyn pay for you. It's awesome. When you get one offer, you can do a net sheet. When you get multiple offers in the top left corner, you can select multiple offers, input all the other offers, and then it will give you a net sheet side by side comparing them. And then it will also give you an individual net sheet for each transaction. Super powerful. All right, we're going to skip over that. So one thing I put in here this week, Alyssa had did this for us last week and I forgot to put it in. I wanted to read some word on the street and some of our testimonials about our agents. Over here on the right, we've got Katrina Johnson was amazing, super thorough and knowledgeable, made buying my first property stress-free. I love that word, stress-free. This is the second time that Steve Smith has helped us out. Quick sale and great job. Greg Fessler helped me a few years ago with a home purchase, and now he and Abby have teamed up to sell a home for me. Working with Greg and Abby was a pleasure. We encountered several unexpected bumps in the road, but they handled them like pros. Those bumps would have been there regardless, but I'm glad I had them to guide the way. The Fessler team is my go-to team. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Greg said he wrote that. Pam Bishop has been helping us for a few years find property. She has been very patient and helpful. Glad it all finally worked out. Gosh, it's always nice when it does work out after a few years. I could have never imagined the experience we had selling and buying a house with Bonnie Cook. I am enamored with her work ethic, communication, and her connection within the Charleston community. She knew our expectations for selling and buying and exceeded all of them. Setting up an initial appointment with her was the best phone call I've ever made. Now we are in a home that we considered to be a dream home and out of reach, but she made it happen. If you're looking for a quick sale or for her to get you to this in a sought-after neighborhood or both, then you need to connect with Bonnie. Awesome stuff, guys. Very cool. It's very nice to hear. All right, Caravan. Let's go live on Caravan. I put maybe, maybe not, because we are dying to go do Caravan. I know that the properties are coming on the market and selling right away. So consider the strategy that we've talked about a few times. If you've got a listing coming up in the Mount Pleasant area, we don't know necessarily outside of our area because we don't know if the other offices are doing Caravan. We have the guidelines in place to do it safely. You've got to get your seller to agree in writing. But consider putting it on InstaList. Go to the Find Buyers and Buy side. See if you've got any additional people there. Let us Caravan it on Thursday of that week, and then schedule an open house for that Saturday, Friday, Saturday, whatever, and then receive all the offers at the same time, and then present all the offers at the same time. So you've really given your sellers the best possible opportunity. It also helps some of us just get to know neighborhoods, see what's out there, see if we can match make, that sort of thing. So go the extra mile if you can. This listing is Duval's. Duval's, tell us about this one. This is the one you've got the open house on. You're still muted, Duval.
Sorry. Thank you. Got an agent open house today from 11 to 2. Parking's a little bit limited, but I'll meet you downstairs. Just come to guest parking on Albemarle Road, but it's great. It's a penthouse in perfect condition, top of the Albemarle, overlooking the Ashley River, in really ready to move in. Really great value. Come over.
You're giving away cash, I hear.
Yes, $100. Drawing for $100 cash. And I'm looking
Nice.
for two. So got Miss Hamby's and homemade brownies. So please come over.
Today, 11 to 2.
Thank you.
I've always
Yeah.
wanted to go inside those things too. Every time I drive by, I was always curious what they look like.
It's a really cool
Awesome
building.
stuff. Good job. Bob.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, Pam, tell us about Ruby Drive. Tell us how fast you sold this. Pam, I know you're on here. Are you muted? Do we know for sure if it's sold? Oh, she may have stepped away a minute. All right, well, Pam maybe or maybe doesn't have Ruby Drive available in Old Mount Pleasant. 3-bed, 1 bath. It says active, 1150 square feet. So reach out to Pam if you've got somebody. I'm sure that's not going to last. All right, a couple of important memos. Earnestly, now you can request earnest money through SkySlope, which is awesome. So when you're inputting your transaction information, go up top to commission, and at the bottom, request deposit. So everything can kind of be done right in there now. And it's really, really nice to do it that way. Remember, Earnestly is only $7 and the fee goes to your client. So it's just easy and simple. There's no $30 bank fee or anything like that. So let us know if you have trouble with that. Tony and Alyssa and Sheila know how to handle that part of that. InstaList. Michael, anything you want to touch on InstaList other than just a reminder of the fact that we need to use it?
For those, and I was trying to pull my stats real fast right here. For those who were on the town hall, I apologize for my repeating myself. But for those who were not, I'm going to give you 3 quick statistics over the last 3 months. So, 3 months being a quarter. In November, the MLS was up in written units by 37%, and Carolina One agents were up by 67%. In December, MLS units were up by 48%, and Carolina One agents were up by 61%. In January, the MLS was up in written units by 19%, and Carolina One agents were up by 45%. So that averages out to 23% faster than the market over the last 3 months. And while you all are much better at what you do than most everybody in the industry, I'd love to say there's no good agents who don't work for Carolina One, but that's ridiculous. I know that's not true. But what is that half the agents in MLS do 1 deal or less per year. So there is a different caliber of agents, and you all certainly fall within that upper echelon of agents. But your ability, because we've always said the same thing, there's a less expensive agent that your seller could hire to put their house in MLS or, list their home. But they're better off by hiring you, even if you're not the cheapest agent. At the end of the day, we recognize that we're not the cheapest company to work for. We could be virtual. You could have one broker in Mount Pleasant. We could have one staff person in the area or virtual people and not the team that you guys have on the ground. But that's part of what we do, and the synergistic environment that you all are part of, especially in times of low inventory, has really, really paid off. And our agents are doing more business and dramatically more business than the market because of your ability to leverage upcoming listings and communicate those. And the number of people doing those transactions has really only escalated, and we've continued now to see that pay off in closing. So sometimes when things are easier, people think that it's easy necessarily in a low inventory market. That actually makes it tricky. It's harder if you're a buyer's agent, and it's tough if you're a listing agent to make sure that you get it right. So, when things get challenging, the cream rises to the top, and you guys have certainly outperformed the market and done a great job. So I would encourage you to understand and use those tools. There are online tutorials on C1 Rose. We'll also have a lot about that at the virtual trade show coming up in March, as well as some new ideas of some programs and opportunities that might continue to elevate how we conduct what I would consider to be more traditional real estate. So thanks.
Cool. And guys, just remember too, it's not a perfect system. We don't want it to be like an MLS. So that's why I have on there less is more. So input your data, and then you're going to have to spend a minute or two actually looking through your matches and seeing if they're good fits. But it's definitely a huge advantage we have to keep using. All right, another reminder on Lolo. I know the gifts of the month this month for Lolo are pretty exciting. I saw one being Taco Boy. So I will make a graphic for you guys like this and send it out to you later today. We haven't done this in a couple months, and it's always good to refresh something for your social media and all of that. I think Taco Boy in itself, I didn't look at the other gifts, but Taco Boy usually gets some people's attention. If you haven't been there, it's pretty good. But really start engaging in this a little bit more. This is just a way for you to demonstrate that you're a community player. You're active in the community. Don't just send it, participate, use it, go get it, go do it yourself, redeem it yourself. Call your clients that are getting it and say, hey, Adam, you want to go redeem our Lolo gifts together this month, and just connect and just see how it goes. If you haven't, Tony said, I love Lolo. She gets them from me all the time. If you haven't redeemed one yet, go do it so you know the experience, and then you can actually leverage that because you're paying for it. So if you're not going to get it, if you're not going to use it, then don't pay for it, right? All right, moving forward again on a memo. If you're part of a team, just remember you have to tell us how to pay your team members. I know that sounds really silly and simple, but a lot of times we won't know to pay them if you don't tell us to pay them. Michael has his dog on his lap. Another reminder on social media. I put this reminder in here again. We are getting better, but I will tell you, I talked to Philip this week and he's like, really? And I'm like, what? And he's like, I'm not picking on you, but go look at your Facebook page. And I was like, crap. I forgot to put Carolina One when I put you guys as the award winners. I had the logo on there, but I didn't write Carolina One. And I was like, ah. So I'm grateful for Philip catching it, but obviously I do it too. So we just have to be mindful. It's very easy to forget. Any post about anything real estate related has to have Carolina One on it, just because it's the LLR law. You have to identify which brokerage you're with, not because we want additional marketing and branding, although that's probably a nice factor too.
And with more and more remote agents and virtual things and other things, LLR has added some investigators, and Rob Whittle has a good friend up there, and they've actually filed a decent number of grievance actions recently, and we'll work through them if they do come up. And then they've also, which is good, separate from this issue, filed a few actions for failure to supervise on some people that think being a broker is just something you phone in, that you don't actually have to supervise your agents. And there have been some brokers who have been fined for failure to supervise their agents. So I think we'll start to see things shift a little bit as things get busier out there, and LLR kind of steps up a little bit.
Forget about failure to supervise when the broker's not even doing it right.
Exactly.
Greg, you had a question? Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's got to be in the body of the post. So Greg's question was, can it be on the page or does it have to be in the body of the post? It has to be in the body of the post and the page. Yes. If you're sharing from your business page, then you don't have to. But that was on my personal page, which says nothing about Carolina.
It's in the header, exactly.
Yeah.
Does that mean hashtag Carolina One Real Estate?
Yeah. Yep. I don't have a business page because it wasn't like a thing when I was an agent, and I'm not an agent anymore. So now I got to figure out if I need to create a Maggie McDuffie broker in charge Carolina One Real Estate page just to.
Maggie sells some MySpace.
Complicated.
Maggie sells some MySpace.
Yeah, that's how I recruit agents from MySpace. Question? Yes, all social media. Alex said there was a question in the chat box. Yes, on Pinterest as well. Yep. Anything real estate related online has to have Carolina One. All right, partnerships. Joe, you want to share anything about what you see going on lately? And I will type what you say in the chat box so people can hear you.
Yeah, so actually one thing that did earlier when you were talking about the next sheets and making sure you provide one of the sellers is make sure you ask them if they're in forbearance. We have so many sellers that are in forbearance, and those payoffs will come to us in 24 or 48 hours like we normally expect. So if they're in forbearance, it could be 7, 10, 14 days for us to get a payoff. So ask that question up front, and if they happen to be honest with you, please just give us a quick note. Hey, you're in forbearance, and I want to order this payoff earlier. Because a lot of times they're going back, calculating that inventory and getting it back onto the payoff. Comes from a different department. Just
Can't hear.
Yeah, I'm typing it in the chat box, Tommy. I'll repeat it once he's done.
Gotcha. Yeah, so that's yeah, if they haven't paid, that money just doesn't go away. They just tack it on the back side of the mortgage. And we've had closings go sideways because you know, they think their payoff is $280,000 or whatever. And somehow they want to try to explain that it just doesn't go away. The federal government's not giving you a gift. They say we have to pay right now. And then when we add, you know, 15, 18 grand on the backside of that payoff, it's basically enough to pay back the closing. And they're not very happy about it. It's a tough world to close out there. Not everybody's as blessed as real estate industry is right now. And so just ask that question. Give us a quick heads up if you can. You can add it to our seller.
Good question. So basically, guys, for you all at home that maybe didn't see the chat box, what Joe is saying is a really good point, that what they're seeing with seller net sheets, if we're not asking the question whether or not they're in forbearance, we're not calculating in that those payments may be actually added, not actually, they're added onto the back of the loan. So the net sheet we're giving them might not actually be accurate. And additionally, they don't get the payoff from the bank as quickly as they would had the seller not been in forbearance. It takes 7, 10, sometimes 2 weeks, 14 days, 15 days, something like that for them to get the payoff amount. So that's going to cause a delay if you're not prepared for that. So be mindful of that. Make sure you ask those hard questions and don't be shy to ask the questions. A lot of times we're embarrassed or shy to ask, what do you owe on the mortgage? But that's our job. It's part of our consulting and our guiding that we have to ask those questions. So don't be shy to ask them. I promise if you ask them and you give them a number on the net sheet that's wrong, they will correct you. Any other questions or thoughts for Joe Kessinger? Once, twice. All right. Thanks, Joe. That's a good point I hadn't thought of. A quick reminder on insurance. We've got all kinds of insurance with Carolina One Insurance, so just keep it in mind. It's easy. Hopefully it's easy. Try to make it easy for you. If you have an issue, call us. Call SAS. He's always available. They've got auto, home, flood, wind and hail. They've got pet insurance. They've got personal property insurance. They have umbrella coverage. They've got everything. So reach out to them and consider your options with them, even personally. And moving on to our mortgage team, Andrew and Charlene.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, he's very happy you're here.
Thank you. Yeah. Hey guys, morning everybody. Really appreciate some FaceTime with you, or computer time, or whatever we want to call it. We've got about 12 people here at the office this morning, so it's a lot of fun to be here. So Andrew and I just want to take a few minutes just to kind of remind you of some of the things we do, and we're happy to talk with you via phone or Zoom or something if you want to get a little more information on this. So let me just give you a reminder of what we can do for you all, and especially on the marketing side of things. So we can help you create co-branded flyers. Remember, we do this through our Total Expert system, and they add probably 3 or 4 new flyers to our Total Expert system every month. So if you haven't taken a look at your Total Expert lately, go in there, take a look, make sure your credentials are current. Maybe you need to update your picture. Maybe you would like to do a different Carolina One logo, because we have like 3 or 4 different Carolina One logos that you can use in there. The nice thing about those flyers is then you could JPEG them and put them in an email to 1 person or 500 people, or put them on your Facebook. So we've done a little bit of that recently in the office. So most of the time when I send those, Andrew and I send those flyers out to the LPR Facebook page, most of those are also where we can co-brand for you and your clients. So anyways, let us know how we can help you out on that. Believe it or not, I did my first open house flyer of the year yesterday for Allie Atwell. Whew, gosh, I hadn't done one in so long. I had to remind myself how to do it. Anyways, so we do have those available for you, or if you want it for your agent open house. So, happy to do those for you as well. We're not really doing the single listing websites because, unfortunately, if I do those for you, it doesn't show the Carolina One logo. So, right, Michael?
Yeah, it's not good to do things that are illegal.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, anyways,
we don't want to do things that create issues for our agents.
That's right. So don't forget, y'all, about the lender credits to put them on your listings. Even if you think your listing is going to go in 24 hours, let them put them on there, because it might help out the buyer, and it certainly will help out your seller if the buyer is trying to negotiate some closing costs. Andrew and I are available even if we're not in the office, although one of us is in the office every day. But if we're not here, we're always available by phone. And many of you know that because I probably worked with 6 of you this weekend while Andrew was off. So, but we are at the ready. We know it's a tough environment. We know you need to get those pre-approval letters. I don't have any qualms about talking to the clients that we've already got pre-approved and saying, I know this is what the house is listed at, but you might consider a $5,000 more offer. I'll let you talk to your agent, but if you want the house, consider it. It's only $20, $25 a month difference in your payment. Think about it. So, especially once they've already been done.
Charlene, what if it's Sunday?
Sunday?
What if it's Sunday?
Oh, yeah. Andrew and I are available all the time.
I say that facetiously. I talked to an agent yesterday from our Edisto office, who actually, I guess, didn't know he could call a loan officer from any one of our offices. And he actually submitted an offer on Sunday for a property on Edisto. There were multiple offers. He lost it. And one of the things the listing agent said was, you didn't have approval, a mortgage approval from your client. And the client said, well, they were going to call a lender on Monday. And so I obviously get that stuff done ahead of time if you can. But it's important to know, especially in today's world, if your client decides randomly they should have been pre-approved ahead of time, but they're just going to write that offer on Sunday. Make the call, make that offer as strong as you can, and get all your box checked, because they'll be there for you if you need them, guys.
Yeah, our LPR agents know that pretty well, Michael. But just to reiterate, so Andrew and I tag team. He'll text me, I'll text him. If I'm leaving church and can't get to it for 2 hours, I'll say, "Can you get?" And he'll say, "Sure." So we're always on, because you guys are always on, and we know that. You don't work 9 to 5 as realtors, so we're here to support your after hours and weekend needs. Okay, so this is just some of you have seen some of these flyers. Some of them are more colorful than others. Some of them have like 5 variations. But just to remind people, if you're paying $1,600 a month in rent, that's $300,000 house. Okay, so the preferred lender credit, love to give that out to you. If you want if your people are already pre-approved somewhere else, they're working with a bank out of Timbuktu, and you're very nervous, let us see if we can beat the deal. So I'm doing a new construction with Toll Brothers up in Carnes Crossroad with Steve Smith, because we were able to come to an agreement with the buyer. We didn't quite meet their closing costs, but I had already done all the work, and the buyer said, "I'm staying with you, Cheryl-Lane." But we gave him a nice incentive. So if it's $3,000 or less, give us a shot, because we can usually try to work out some stuff with those builder incentives. So credit boost program. So Laura and Dan Pop, are you guys on? All right, so we're working with a client for them. I won't name her for her privacy, but we just boosted her credit score. I just got it this morning from 702 to 760.
Woohoo! Thank you, Cheryl-Lane.
You're welcome. So she's going to be thrilled, because she'll save at least the eighth in her interest rate, but she may save a quarter. So she's already under contract. She's closing in March. She followed the directions we gave her, which is key. I'm excited to make the call to her sometime today to say, now here's your rate. So, and she was planning on doing the things. We just had her do them now versus later. So 702 is not a bad score, but a 760 is what? Excellent, right? So anyway, I was thrilled to get that. Yeah, you're welcome. I was really excited to get that
really
email
appreciate
right
that.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Anyways, so y'all, the mortgage interest rate market is like these. If you pulled up the rates I've done for the last 3 months, I bet they're almost right here. So the market's very, very good. Rates are below 3. I know you guys can get out there and sell it. Andrew, you want to do the thank yous, or you want? Yeah, come on up. Get some FaceTime. All right. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yes. I still know the login too. Oh, that's probably actually true. All right, closings this week. Laura Goolsby. Oh, where am I at? New contracts this week. Cindy Howell, Bonnie Cook, Steve Smith, and Pam Bishop. The only reason that that's not bigger is because of multiple offer situations. All right. New referrals this week. Pam Bishop, Tina Harford, Dorothy Shea, Nia Swinton Jenkins, Laura Goolsby, Hope Reed, and Renee Kramer. Team. Inquiries, Bonnie Cook, Zakia Cannon, Nia Swinton Jenkins, Allie Atwell, and Michelle Githers. Thank you all.
Oh, thanks, guys. I'm still obsessed with those stats that Michael just shared about how we're selling houses faster than everywhere else. Obsessed with that. Yeah, we got to make a graphic for that. All right, so now we're going to roll forward and wrap our meeting with some Q&A with Michael. In case you guys didn't see this, Michael sent this to me yesterday. Hopefully this plays properly.
I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to.
We're trying to. Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I'm not a cat.
I can see that. I think if you click the up.
Yeah. So, if you guys couldn't see in the corner there,
I believe you have a filter.
Sorry, in the corner it said what he was what he was there for. It was like $500 fine and up to 180 days in jail. And being on the other side, when I used to work with inmates and go up to the parole board, I was like, man, if we showed up and your attorney was a cat, I would be like, this is terrible. Now we really have all the odds against us. But Michael sent that, and I thought it was pretty funny, so I made it his intro for today.
All
Michael,
right.
do you want to put a filter on? Do you want to put a filter on for us?
That's why I held up Rex earlier. All right, get your chat box ready so people can chime in with a couple of things. Maggie, you can yell them out for the people that are in office. Name for me any one of the 7 protected classes under fair housing.
Oh.
There are 7
Familial
protected
status over here.
classes under fair housing.
One, I'll read you the chat box. Race, age, familial status.
You can call them. You can call them out. There, I've got the chat box.
What you got?
So far, the ones in the chat box are race, age, familial status, sex, religion, disability, sexual orientation. Any
That's it,
others?
right?
Maggie's got familial status in there.
I don't know if there's any others. Disability, we already said.
Disability.
Religion, familial status.
5, 6, 7, 8. All right. So we got most of them. I will go through them and then we will talk about that, how it relates to love letters. Oh, national origin. Bonnie pulling in last one down there that we didn't have, which is good. So the protected classes under the Fair Housing Act are, as defined, race, color, national origin, religion, sex, familial status, and disability. So those are the protected classes under the Fair Housing Act. Now, recent Supreme Court rulings have indicated that may be extended more towards sexual orientation as well. There are some questions as to, do you define sex as male or female, or does sexual orientation go in that? And there were some cases last year that's probably going to extend some of that things. Believe it or not, age is not a protected class. So you can put in your listing, I will not sell my house to an old person. Not that you ever want to
do that, though.
So let's talk about how that applies to buyer love letters. First and foremost, don't discriminate against people. So that's kind of the key takeaway. But there's also what's permissible and what goes too far. Okay. You'll hear people, if you really want to have a discussion that says, well, if I talk about the view from my listing, then I am discriminating against someone who has a disability and can't see. Well, in theory, that may be one thing, but that's certainly not discriminating, and in that description. So key point: don't discriminate against anyone, regardless of the situation. Because let's take love letters, which have gotten this whole hubbub and spin up, which has really been overdone, and extend those out. So, if a love letter becomes impermissible, and I'll talk about how to do it in a correct way. If a love letter becomes impermissible, is that worse than a Ring doorbell cam that lets the seller see the buyers as they walk into the house? So if we're really super freaked out about, oh my God, you said something about, or you sent a picture, or you said something about the fact that they had kids, well, the Ring doorbell may show you that they have kids when they walk in. So, this concept that we have to, put blinders over everything and hear no evil, see no evil doesn't exist in the vacuum of the world. What if a seller was home for showings? What if a seller, sat across the street and waited for the buyers to look at the house? We're never going to be able to, insulate and do everything in a box. But what can and what can't we do? First off, a buyer can't discriminate in the purchase of a home. Okay, obviously buyers can discriminate in other ways. But fair housing is talking about a seller not discriminating, because obviously a buyer is asked to buy the home. So a buyer can't discriminate. So a love letter in and of itself, and that's, I don't love the love letter language. What I like is a letter that accompanies your offer that says something about your buyer. I don't have a problem with them. I think they're perfectly fine, but you got to be careful. So first off, a buyer cannot discriminate. So sending a cover letter with your offer in no way violates fair housing. Okay, so your buyer cannot violate fair housing. And you're sending that letter on their behalf does. Now, as a listing agent, presenting it to your seller, regardless actually of what it says, also does not violate fair housing, because in order to violate fair housing, someone must be discriminated against. So where does that come up? That comes up if you have multiple offers. Now, all of a sudden, I have multiple offers. I have a letter from one party, which may give me some information, which may or may not be relevant. If I make a decision in favor of that party against another party, based on any one of those protected classes, I, as a seller, have violated fair housing. So how do we address that? First off, there are certain things, let's just be smart, belong in any correspondence to a seller. They're irrelevant. They have no basis on anything, so, I'd like you to meet Joe. He is a straight white male and he would like to buy your house. Race, color, any of those things have absolutely no basis to be in any correspondence to anyone. They're irrelevant. And if your client's not going to teach them as such, then obviously that creates potential fair housing issues, and they've got other things. Now, at the same point, purchase of a home is an emotional decision for the buyer and the seller. And, we recently sold an investment property up in the Westcott area, and I got a letter from the agent with the offer, and it talked about the buyers had retired from military service to the Charleston area. They moved here to be close to their grandkids, and they really excited about the house because it gave them, it was so convenient to their multiple grandkids and gave them enough space for everyone to came and stay. Now, in theory, does the fact that they mentioned they have grandkids somehow equate to familial status, that obviously they were married at some point, had kids, and now have grandkids? Maybe, maybe not. Actually, I found the letter very impactful because they talked about, after his career of military service, retiring here to be close to family, and that came through. Now, there's nothing wrong with that letter. I was actually touched by it. I said, I want these people to have the house. Now, we did get into multiple offer situation. So in that situation, I could make the decision based on, I would rather sell it to a military veteran. That was in the letter, and that's not a protected class. I cannot say, because familial status is protected, that I am going to pick the couple with grandchildren over, Tommy Lovett, who wants to buy my house as a single bachelor and says it would be a great place for him to have, fun parties on Friday and Saturday. I can't make a decision based on familial status because that would violate fair housing. So how do we make a decision on anything when there are multiple offers? You put offers side by side and you make a decision as to what's best for your client. When I was a lawyer working jury trials, you cannot exclude a juror based on race or based on any of the protected classes. So if someone challenges that, like a jury selection, somebody says, well, there were 6 jurors and you excluded, all minority jurors, or you didn't, you have to have a non-discriminatory reason why you excluded that person. So, that person said they had a prior bad real estate experience. So we excluded them because they might be biased based on that. And so whenever you exclude someone from a jury, you have to actually have your non-discriminatory reason. if you're ever in a multiple offer situation, you look at the offers and you make a decision. For me, I was very happy. We got multiple offers, and guess what? The military retiree, their offer was better by $5,000. It's clear I picked that option. It wasn't based on the letter, although it did give me a good feeling about them. I'm glad they won. It wasn't based on that letter, and I had a non-discriminatory reason they were the higher offer. Now, if you have a letter that comes in and says, we have 2 kids and we'd love to raise our family in the house and this, that, and the other, and all of a sudden you have multiple offers and somebody else's offer is $5,000 or $10,000 more, and your client says, well, let's go with the woman with the children, it's your job to let them know and inform them. That would be violating fair housing. You can't make a decision based on familial status. So you need to have a good non-discriminatory reason why you're picking an offer that's $10,000 less over an offer of 10, but that's cash and it closed in 2 weeks. Okay, good reason. It's as is, closed in 2 weeks, that meets your basis. So make sure you define those. But there's nothing wrong with sending a cover letter. Just be careful is what you're doing. Now, like I said, there's no reason certain things would ever make it into a letter. So, if someone sends you a letter saying, my white clients are excited to buy your house, you need to just not, send that back and say, I'm sorry, we're not participating in anything that could potentially violate fair housing. So I've never seen that. Usually it's around kids. Somebody now said, well, you can't ever send a picture or try to tug on their heartstrings. But like I said, the Ring doorbell will give them a picture if they really want one. So there are other ways if a client was looking to do something improper that they could. You just got to make sure, that we're following fair housing and that we're not taking, form over substance.
Michael, we have 2 questions here. Melissa.
What about the listing for a list for your buyer to get a house?
I can't hear her.
I know, I'll repeat when she's done. Hold on.
So recently in my neighborhood, we have had a non-Carolina One agent send out a newsletter, a notice to all of the neighbors about her buyers, how much they were approved for, and a picture of them, and that they're a great family. All this wonderful stuff.
So I think.
There's a few of us in that situation.
So I think what Michael's going to tell you is that buyers, like he said earlier, buyers can't discriminate. So, you can, but Michael, her question is, what about there's a non-Carolina One agent in her neighborhood sending out letters to everyone with a picture of her buyers talking all about them, what they're approved for and all that, looking for a house.
Do you want the bad answer? You want the answer or you want the real answer?
I think she wants to do it for her buyers. So if she can.
Go for it. There's no problem with that. When we bought our house in Hobcob, Lynn Carmody was the listing agent. Lynn told me the people are downsizing because their second son graduated from college. I sent a letter, said, your listing agent told me you guys are going to be living next door and you're downsizing because your second son just graduated from college after you raised them in a house. Guess what? I've got 2 boys and I'm going to keep on the tradition and raise them in the same house. Isn't that cool? There's nothing wrong with that. I was hoping to make an emotional connection to the seller. Now, if they had multiple offers, that could not be a factor in their decision. If they had multiple offers, they've got to make a decision that is objectively correct. So if now somebody else makes an offer and it's $20,000 more than mine, the same closing date, same financing, and they take mine, and that person files a fair housing complaint, they're going to have a hard time explaining, why did you take $20,000 less when every term was the same? Oh, well, because they had kids. That violates fair housing. But there's nothing wrong with the letter I sent. But it's important that we educate our clients. Now, like I said, if I sent a letter that said I'm a white male, there's never going to be a situation where someone's going to say that's legitimate. And I would never, no one would ever do that. But I would be no problem taking the letter that I sent, a single offer to an owner, as soon as it went on the market, of course, and we bought the home. There's no fair housing complaint there. There's not even a second buyer, so there couldn't be a fair housing complaint. But I would gladly stand up with that letter and my job as a lawyer and broker and say this is completely legitimate. I'm not asking them to make a decision based on this. I'm simply letting them know why we're excited about their home.
All right, Digit, we got to move to, otherwise we're never going to get through all your questions. Good? Good? You good?
What's the responsibility? All responsibility.
It's true. They have to.
But now there's a video that says, you know, put in your listing, no love letters will be accepted or presented or anything else. I mean, it's important to know the law. Just like saying, put in your, you know, next they're going to tell you to cover up Ring doorbells. I mean, you have to just make sure you understand the reasons and how to be fully compliant, as we're always going to treat everyone the same, you know, and fairly based on those protected classes. And I think personally the protected classes, you know, I'm not going to discriminate against old people either. So, I mean, I would hope you guys wouldn't either, but technically that's not one of your protected classes if you really don't want old people.
Okay, so can we?
Sorry, I know, talking too much.
It's pretty big. Yeah. Because of that circumstance, yes. What is the liability as a listing agent if a seller says, I want to accept the offer with the woman with the kids and multiple offers? I just said it's a pretty big liability, so we have to advise, as Michael had said. So,
it's actually worse. I'd walk away from the transaction. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if they're making a decision, again, 7 out of 8 of those categories, I think, are more. Some of those categories of discrimination are evil malice in your heart. Some we've got to know because they might not be ill-intentioned. You know, oh, I'd love the woman, the single mom with kids to have the house. That may come from a place of love, but you're also discriminating against the other person. If someone wants to make a decision based on a category that violates fair housing, you cannot handle that transaction. You would have to say, if that is your basis, you're going to be picking them not because their offer is stronger, not because their terms are better, but simply because they have children. I cannot represent you in this transaction because you are violating fair housing.
Yeah,
that would be the only option. Now, unfortunately, you know, they could say, okay, fine, counter with them at the same price. You could do that, you know, but that's fine.
Okay, so before we get into this question, Michael, because I think that's going to take up the majority of the rest of the time, and we're already at 10. I'll email these questions to you, and we'll just, I just want to show you guys my cool gift there. How do we not lose our minds in this type of market? Everyone's acting crazy. But anyway, let's go with the big question that I know everyone is talking about, Michael, and everyone is concerned about. It's all over our Facebook pages, all over the Charleston Facebook pages. Should we be worried that, oh, look how I spelled Zillow. Zillow just bought showing time.
No. You know, I don't. Yeah, it's a tough question to answer fully. But
it's the attorney answer.
Get your chat. Well, this actually isn't going to be my attorney answer. This is going to be my real estate professional broker industry person answer. All right, get your chat box ready because I do have a couple of clues for this first category, and this may date me and no one may know any of this, and this may sound way too nerdy, but a little movie history. So what happened on August 29th, and this is not something that happened in real life, this is something that happened in a movie. What happened on August 29th, 1997? August 29th, 1997. If anybody actually got it based on that, I'd be really disturbed, unless you're like using your phone or you actually knew this, because I didn't know this. Jason Looney, can you be more specific?
That's not fair. He's an actor.
Can you be more specific, Jason? Jason was the first. Jason and Lisa, can one of you be more specific in your answer?
Netflix, Redbox, Judgment Day.
Wow.
Wow, Jason.
All right. Well, I will give the winner as Jason Looney, who I will send a gift card to the marketing store for his Terminator reference, because that went a lot faster than I thought. August 29th, 1997 was the date Skynet became self-aware. If you don't know what Skynet was a computer program that was designed to take over handling the flying of planes, bombers, and actually our nuclear arsenal to take people out of the equation. for the U.S. military in the movie Terminator. Skynet became self-aware on August 29th, 1997, and eventually launched nuclear weapons to get rid of people, because once Skynet became self-aware, Skynet no longer needed people. I was talking to Maggie, and there was some discussion as to whether, if Zillow has their way, we'll all be working for Zillow one day. And the answer is no. There's no risk of us all working for Zillow one day, because Zillow doesn't want any of us. Okay, Zillow is the Skynet of real estate, and Zillow became self-aware when they became profitable enough, largely based on agent spending, that they no longer needed agents. At the end of the day, Zillow's purchase of Showing Time is because, as Showing Time's stated purpose or mission statement, of which Zillow talked about, is to automate the showing scheduling and management process of real estate. The reason Zillow became a brokerage is Zillow's focus is not going to anymore be on being an advertising portal. Zillow's stated goal is to have the Zestimate be a standing offer for your home. And that now home sales, renovations, purchases will basically become an automated process through Zillow. They'll buy your home, they'll sell your home, and trust me, they're not going to be selling it with a realtor. They're going to be selling it with an automated lockbox and Showing Time coordinating showings, contractors, and other things as they renovate those homes. So, you know, Zillow's stated goal is not going to be to have agents that make six figures selling houses, but to have machines that list, price, and sell houses. And agents might get a small salary to open doors or do things that machines cannot yet do. The good news from that very dark, dreary explanation is that the seminal quote from the Terminator franchise movie, which I like a lot and which I'm sure Maggie kind of lives her life by, is there is no fate but what we make. And that's one of the terms that Sarah Connor carves into a picnic table. You know, the future is not set. There's no fate but what we make. So that may be Zillow's stated goal. And there is certainly a component to that. Okay, there are a certain number of people that will be happy to sell their house to Zillow on an automated offer. And actually, when you get to the virtual trade show, we're going to have some iBuying options that I think you'll have find very interesting. And that's actually where we got with Insta Offer as a first phase of that. Certainly not as powerful as backed by Zillow's money now, which they've got on stock money, as they're a $39 billion company. No problem with that. Congratulations to them. And buying a company for $500 million is actually just a drop in the bucket, given the share prices that they've raised over the last year. So that's good for them. But, you know, iBuying is going to meet a certain number of people. There's going to be a certain number of people that would much rather sell their house really quickly to a cash offer and give up some of that money. Just like there's a certain number of people in a much smaller scale that will sell their car to the dealer because I don't really care what I get for it. I just want to trade it in. I want to be done with it and gone. So a couple more quick trivia facts. You know, think about things like Uber and other things. Eventually, you know, things eventually need to be profitable. Okay, things eventually need to make money. You know, Uber in many big cities did a great job raising public funds, came up with a great concept, a better experience, a better car ride, a better payment process. You know where your car was. It was easier. And guess what? It was also cheaper. That's great. Guess what's no longer cheaper in most of those big cities? You know, because Uber realized they've got to eventually reach profitability. Zillow made $1.37 billion in real estate sales last year. What was the average cost? What was the average price of the house that Zillow sold last year? Somebody give me a rough number.
160. 250.
160,
just like online.
250. Sold on their properties they bought and then they sold.
200.
$317,155. $317,155. Now, this is a trick question. Okay. What was the average cost that Zillow had into that home?
$1,000. $0.
The average sale price, $317,155. How much did Zillow have in that home? I told you it was a trick question.
$317,155.
$318,667. When you factor in interest and other costs, Zillow lost $6,500 on every home they sold. Okay? That doesn't last very long. All right? So Zillow lost $6,500 on every home they sold. So while Zillow actually had their stocks up nicely today, while their revenues actually were down 17% from the fourth quarter, because their earnings were up because of the price of the houses went up. But guess what? It's a lot harder to find some of those homes right now. So their revenues were actually down because their iBuying has slowed. So what does all of this mean at the end of the day? Eventually, in the iBuying, buy my house for cash now space, although we will have some options for that, and there will be competitors against Zillow to serve that consumer need. And I really want you to tune into the virtual trade show because we're going to spend a lot of time on what does the future of real estate look like. Zillow will certainly be a player. Nationwide, you're much more likely to see Zillow repair trucks and contractor trucks than you are agent cars with magnets on the side. At the end of the day, the only thing to remember, and the reason why we've talked for decades now on relationship selling, is real estate is a highly complex, relatively infrequent transaction, and the cost of making a mistake is huge. And that's a direct quote from Steve Murray. And the closer you are to your people, and the more you show them your expertise in the space, the more protected your job is. At the end of the day, take any neighborhood in Charleston. The house across the street from me is worth dramatically different than my house. I mean, neighborhoods come down to subsections, to sides of the street, to water, to marsh, to the depth of water, to traffic, to all of the uniqueness that no computer based on stale data is ever going to be able to replicate. All right? At the end of the day, Sarah Connor wins in the Terminator movie, not Arnold Schwarzenegger, even though Skynet became self-aware. So it's our job to believe, obviously, there's no fate but what we make. But now, on the flip side of that, and I'll wrap it up, but on the flip side of that, I talked to an agent who made a lot of money buying homes for a professional company that bought them for rent, back many years ago in the downturn. And she made a lot of money. And then one day they came to her and said, you made a lot of money last year, like over $500,000. And we want you to come on staff and we're going to pay you $50,000. And she said, well, I don't like that deal. That's horrible. And I talked to him or her and I said, but you need to go to them and tell them, but you don't understand. I'm finding these homes for you and I'm delivering value. And she goes, well, no, I'm not actually finding them. They're sending me a list of homes to make an offer on. I said, okay, understood. Then you need to actually tell them you're helping do the analysis for what to offer on those homes. They go, oh, actually, I'm not doing that either. They send me a list of the homes and the price to offer. Okay, your job's worth about $50,000. So I guess that's probably a good deal. You should probably take it. So we've got to be very clear as to what value we're bringing to our clients and how we're putting ourselves in that position. If the bulk of your clients call you and say, oh, I found a house I want to buy, can you write it up? That's only going to be worth a certain amount in the future. If you're in flow with your clients over 10 years and you know where they want to be for their job, what their plans are for their retirement, how they're going to educate their grandchildren with an investment property, where they're going to go when they downsize, where they're going to go now that they had that third baby, letting them know what's going on in their marketplace with their community and their house. You're having your annual reviews. You set them up for monthly newsletters from buy side. You're engaged with them on an ongoing basis. That person makes 6 figures, and Zillow's never going to take that person's job. So I'm not worried about showing time and how it fits within Zillow's long-term plans. Of course, MLS will evaluate whether it's a conflict of interest to have another broker with, data on those sorts of things. But if you're worried that if showing time actually had your client's phone number and data, which is available online in any number of places before anybody looks on the dark web, which I'm not even sure what that is, then you don't have a great relationship with your clients. Now, if your basis is based on strangers, and clicks or, billboards or call me, that's going to be a hard battle to win against Zillow. So stay close to your people, have them know the expertise and value you bring. And at the end of the day, Zillow is just going to be another competitor in the marketplace, adding a different value and a different service. So.
All very good info. Thank you for that perspective, Michael. Does anyone have any questions about it before we, I'm just going to ask Michael to email me on the other questions that you guys submitted. Greg has a question here, Michael. Hold on. Synopsis of what he said. Yeah. Michael, will you be putting anything out just like as like a bullet point kind of thing or something for strategy or ways for them to communicate to their clients in a short summary of what you've said?
Sure. I mean, yeah, I'm happy to put something. I'm happy to put something out. I mean, I don't think the clients will really care. Where most of the big cities, and again, I'll tease you and encourage you to be at the virtual trade show as we roll out our show program. What originally happened in most big cities is Zillow came, started buying OfferPad. Other places went into big cities, usually where there's a homogeneous inventory, Phoenix, Atlanta, where they have very specific buy boxes of 3-bedroom, 2-bath in this price range. Zillow will buy it. Good luck. I know people whose Zestimate is ridiculously over and ridiculously under. And the day Zillow makes a standing offer on the Zestimate, guess what? We'll just go buy, you and we'll all get together and we'll just go buy up all the neighborhoods Zillow doesn't understand and sell them to them for the Zestimate that are so ridiculously high. And then we'll just go buy the other ones where Zillow doesn't get. But, what eventually happened and what the show program will show you is how, regardless of how someone's buying it, whether they're buying it as is, the condition they're buying it, the price, or the terms, now agents have started re-entering those transactions in those markets, actually guiding their consumers through what is just another buyer. So yes, Zillow is a cash buyer, and yes, here are their terms, but they still need guidance for the agent. Is this the right deal for me? Are there other people out there? How do we compare all those offers? What if I fix it up? Is there somebody that'll fix it up at their cost? What if I want to sell on a traditional market? How does that work? How do the fees work? So now agents have actually been reintroduced into those processes because it is so specific, so unique. And while we all talk about real estate's crazy scary to the vast majority of our clients who are not in this business on an ongoing day, on day in, day out business. And for most of them, it is the biggest transaction they will ever be involved in their life. So let's not get confused by the builders or the flippers or the people that just sound like, oh, this is easy and they sign this. Most people are scared to death, which is why things like electronic signature are great tools to help us do what we do if you need an initial done. But if you're still sitting down with that seller, it's probably going to be across the kitchen table from them, even with a mask on or face-to-face, so I can see the fear in their eyes or what's bothering you or other things that don't really come across on an electronic transaction. So technology, Zillow, showing time, other things just help us do what we do. It doesn't take the place of what we do.
Greg's question. Greg, will you repeat your question so I make sure I get it right? He wants to know in the short term, why do you think Zillow bought showing time?
My guess is showing time's profitable. Zillow has gone in the last 52 weeks from a share price of $18 to 175. So Zillow, even if it's not real cash, is flush with Wall Street cash. So they had an opportunity to buy what I'm guessing is a profitable bricks and mortar company, which will help shore up their earnings. At the same time, as Zillow buys more and more houses, it helps them automate the process. That's what they want. So now, just like OfferPad buys a house. They don't list that house with an agent. They stick a combo lock on the house. They stick a camera on the house. The agent goes to the consumer shows up at the house. They take a picture of their driver's license. They look at the camera. They get a code. They show themselves the house. They leave. And if they want to make an offer, they do it on the app. That's fine. That's convenient for access. Works for vacant homes. That's convenient for access. They got a picture that's convenient for some security parts. And that might be convenient for OfferPad on the offer. And how do they know what to offer? You know, who's giving them the advice and the expertise? All of these components are no different than when I was 16 years old in the Coleman Boulevard office working in the summer giving out MLS books. We knew what was for sale. The consumer had to come, and the internet came, and people were like, oh my God, like if I don't have this book and they don't have to ask me what's on the market and they can find it out online, I'm done. But then agents transitioned from the secret holders of the secret recipe to experts and interpreters of that information. And this is just one more shift in that process. You know, so, you know, for Zillow, I mean, you know, if I had 500 million, maybe I'd buy Showing Time, but it's not part of our, you know, long-term strategy. But Zillow needs their automation and their technology and their software to manage what will eventually be, you know, what I'm sure Zillow hopes to be, you know, tens of thousands of homes. I think right now Zillow owns about 2,500. So my guess is they want that to be 25,000 or 50,000. Oh my God. Or maybe even 100,000. Right now it's 2,500. And this year, 6 million homes transactions will take place. So if Zillow ends up handling 100,000 of those, is that 1.5%? It's not going to dramatically matter in the big scope of things, but you know what? It makes great headlines and it makes great news and it makes CNBC. And so everybody thinks, you know, it's the be all end all of the world.
Yeah. Perspective. All right. Anything else? All right, Michael, I'm just going to email you these questions. They were much shorter, but those two are obviously the most important. So
absolutely. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you for all the info always. And again, thank you for your contribution to the community. We appreciate that. If you guys want to stay on for virtual prayer room, I know it's a little bit late, but definitely good info. So if you want to stay on for virtual prayer room, if you've got the time, that would be great. There's a lot of things going on that probably needs your support. But thank you guys very much for being here. Stay focused, stay strong. Let me know what you need for help. Have a good day.
It's never too late to pray. Great meeting. I had several questions, but I didn't want to hold everything up. So
just email me. I'll make a list for Michael.
Thank you. I actually put it in the Facebook comments, but